Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. We're going to be working on the Mercedes. It's nothing too crazy. It's going to be just a bunch of maintenance. One of the maintenance items I've actually done before in the past on video, and that was the spark plug, so I'm probably going to kind of gloss over that one a little bit. But the other one is I'm going to be replacing my water pump because it does have a good amount of wobble to it, as I can show you. I'm going to start the car up right now. Let's reach in here. Luckily, I don't have any overheating issues, but you can see that wobble there. That's not good. So I definitely need to get that water pump off because I plan on doing about a 12-hour road trip in this car. That's also why I'm doing the spark plugs. So I've got spark plugs, water pump, stuff to replace, rear passenger airbag. I've already replaced the driver's side. I just wanted to order the specialty tools, but yeah, nothing but mostly boring items, but I decided might as well record it, get another video out of it, and get it done because I've been putting it off for a little while now. Obviously, you start the job off by just getting everything out of the way. I did remove this coolant crossover hose, even though I don't think it's necessary. I just didn't want to run the risk of breaking it because I don't have another one. I don't want to buy one. And I already broke one before and I had a spare. That's why you see all this blue coolant everywhere and on everything. I really need to clean under the engine bay because it's just dirty under here in general. But I got to do things like replace the valve cover gaskets and stuff. Eventually I'll get around to that too. But yeah, I'm deciding right now on whether I want to start with the spark plugs, hello long tubes, or the water pump. Either one seems like they're not too difficult, but it's just which one do I decide to do first. I think I might start with the water pump just because the spark plugs I've already done before. I already know how to do them. It's pretty easy. But never done a water pump on an M113. So, yep, I think I'm going to start there, get the belt off. I'm going to take this pulley off first, or take off the bolts, at least crack those loose. Take the belt off, get the pulley out the way, and then start removing all the bolts that go to it and finding out how I'm going to store them in order, because I do know there's a specific orientation to those bolts and I don't want to mess that up. So I'll see you guys in the next clip. I'm hoping Antoine can make it here and help record while I kind of work. He's being lazy though and not really wanting to, so I'm hoping I end up hearing him driving around the corner at some point, but who knows. I'm hoping if he gets here, he can, though, record while I'm working. That way I have more content to show. Alright, guys, as you can see, I got the front pulley off the water pump, and I got the belt off, and this is exactly why I'm replacing my water pump. That is not good. The M113 is known to have water pump issues. Also, the M112, they share a water pump because they practically share an engine. The M113, for those of you who don't know, is an M112 V6 with some extra cylinders added in the middle to make it a V8. So these water pumps are bountiful, they're cheap, but they are a common failure point. If you have the same version of the M113 I have, where you don't have the oil cooler right here, water pumps are bountiful and plenty. If you have that cooler, from what I've heard, it's very difficult to get a water pump. They don't make them anymore. So keep that in mind. Maybe there's a way to convert to having no oil cooler. Clearly it's not a problem if you don't have it. So but yeah, I'll also try to put the links down to the parts I used, but it's kind of difficult to do that because I've done it in the past in like my Honda Accord video, but over time links just either stop working or they now link and take you to a different part. So it's iffy on if I'll actually do that one. But yeah, so I'm going to continue to keep pulling this water pump off. I got just a bunch of little bolts all over the place, and then I'm going to work on memorizing the order. I'm also probably going to check other pulleys and make sure everything's okay. Make sure, oh, luckily my belt is also good. Seems like that was actually recently replaced. So yeah, just check on some of the other pulleys, make sure none of the bearings or anything has gone bad anywhere. The tensioner still feels good. Everything looks good so far, so yep, just gonna pull this water pump off and make a big old mess, I'm sure. Alright guys, so you can see the old water pump compared to the new. As you can tell, I didn't go with an OEM or one from FCP, just because I'm going on vacation, need to prep the car. This got here a lot quicker than any OEM one. I did try, but I'm sure this will fail sooner than normal, probably a couple years, I'll be swapping this out. I will be going with a OEM from FCP Euro, but you can tell this one is a Mercedes OEM, probably stock with the car. And I showed you the bearing wear earlier, but it also looks like at some point some sediment got in here, some sand and stuff. Probably made this thing fail prematurely. I bet it still had some life had that not happened. Don't exactly know how that happened. That happened before I owned the car, but some differences you could tell is like this has a lot more just reinforcement there compared to here. I'm not going to have any of that, so other than that, there doesn't seem to be any physical differences from looking at it. So I'm going to take that one and put it on the engine as soon as I clean up the mating surfaces here. They just need to be wiped down a little bit. Nothing too crazy on there. No gasket material left behind, luckily. So just going to get a towel, wipe that down, stick that on here, reconnect my hoses, which are all in good shape, thankfully. And then move on to the spark plugs, and then take the Cadillac, you can't see it over there, and take that to AutoZone and get some new coolant. What you guys did miss is Antoine, ooh, it's probably bright. Antoine did show up, but he forgot to grab something to eat, so he left again to go get some food, so he'll be back. So luckily I have somebody to help record. That way, you know, like I said in the last clip, I can show you more of what I'm doing. Luckily, doing the water pump is pretty straightforward. Some things to keep in mind. This cap can be a little bit of a pain. It goes over this pulley right here, and it covers up the bolt. The bolt, by the way, is a T50 Torx bit. Every bolt is an E-Torx, but I didn't have any E-Torx sockets, but I got away with just using regular old sockets. They fit on there perfectly. None of them stripped or anything. Even the big boy on the end right here that had a lot more torque on it that helps holding the alternator. So E-Torx aren't required, but practice as I preach, or do as I say, not as I do. Get some E-Torx sockets. You don't want to run the risk of ruining anything. And then make sure you take your pulley bolts off before you take the belt off. They're not super tight, but you never know. If yours has corrosion, maybe you live where it rusts, it'll be a pain if you have the pulley trying to spin while you're undoing hardware. All right, well, as you can see, Antoine's here because I'm not holding the phone currently and it's recording. So I got the new water pump in place. I'm currently just tightening up the bolts. Starting with all the 8 mils because that's a majority of what holds them in place. They go like all along here, down there, right here, right here. Those two not up there, but these two right here. Then gonna move on to the bigger hardware. Overall, this water pump has not been hard to replace, but it has been a bit tedious. But overall, it's a pretty easy job. It just sucks that I'm back to using my hand tool on this one right here, because when I use my electric ratchet, wherever I put it right here, it likes to flip itself to loosen while I'm trying to tighten the bolts in place. Now, I'm not torquing any of these down yet. I have my torque wrench in the trunk of the Mercedes. Eventually, I'm going to look up the torque spec and make sure I torque these all down, because like I said, they are 8 mils. They're very small hardware. I do not want to be breaking any of them off in the block of my engine. That would really screw me over. And then I just got to connect the lower and upper radiator hose and fill it up, but for that I have to go get coolant. So I'm probably going to move on to spark plugs. Then we can jump in the TC or the Cadillac to go get the coolant. But yeah, I'll see you guys in just a second once I'm done tightening up all this hardware. It's going to take me forever, but again, not that bad. I gotta loosen up a hose clamp. I put it on at the wrong angle, and now the belt touches the hose clamp. Yeah. Well, as you can tell, I got the water pump on, but kind of screwed up just a little bit on hose clamps and stuff. So I gotta loosen up this hose clamp and then angle it differently. For some reason, I was all motivated to do spark plugs, so I really don't want to put this belt back on. I think I'm gonna make Antoine try to do it. What are you doing?
I mean, it's a video inside of a video. Like, it's you of you.
Oh, bro, now you gotta redo the shot. You know, ruined it. Jesus. All right, but yeah, so I think I'm gonna make Antoine try to put the belt back on. I don't feel like doing it.
Why me? I don't want to do it.
I don't want to do what I do.
You want to tell him how I showed up to help you go to glory?
Yeah, so this man, he shows up. I had sent a clip while you were gone too that you were here. He shows up, he opens up my hood all the way in service position, smacks my grill against the covered parking right there, and then just leaves and goes and gets food. Like, you just gonna show up, mess up my stuff, and then leave. But now he's back, he's recording, doing what I'm asking, kinda. And I'm over here redoing stuff because I was an idiot.
So what you gotta do again?
I just gotta angle this hose clamp a little more down because the screw part of the hose clamp is sticking too far up and it's hitting the belt when I try putting the belt back on. It's that or I'm putting the belt on in the wrong orientation, which is probably that. I think they actually... I know there's a sticker around here that tells you how to put the belt on, but I think mine's missing. So I'll have to just look it up or just kind of do some trials and tribulations and keep taking the belt off and back on and stuff and seeing if I can get it. But for now, I'm also going to angle this hose clamp down a little bit because it is pretty close to the pulley, to the belt. All right, as you can see, I got all the coils off. I've actually already done all 4 of these spark plugs. He decided he's done helping. He's just going to sit in his car and be lazy.
Just hold the phone. I'm already tired.
Yep, but the car had OEM, let's see, OEM Mercedes-Benz spark plugs. They look pretty good. They probably weren't too old. I'm only replacing them because this thing has an oil consumption issue, which I know this is a temporary thing. If I'm going to put spark plugs in it, they're just going to get fouled out again, but I just need it to be good enough for my road trip. I have to pull the valve covers off and replace the valve stem seals. So I'm going to have to pull these off, clean them up. I want to get them powder coated potentially. Replace the valve cover gaskets, the whole PCV system. Let's see here. Whoop, wrong way. Replace the whole PCV system, all of that leading back behind there. Just get all of that replaced. But for now, I just want fresh plugs in there because this thing is starting to run a little rough and I'm missing out on MPGs. And when you're daily driving 5-liter V8s, you want to get as much MPG as possible. So yeah, I'm just gonna wrap up, put the coils back on this side, take these ones off and finish up this side, and then it should be good enough for me to start up, fill up, and test drive. I don't know if I'm gonna get to that airbag today. I highly doubt it. I don't feel like doing it, but I might, who knows. Nothing crazy happened. I just want to say, look at those long tube headers for an E55 AMG on my E500.
I teleported to this seat, from that seat to this seat.
Yeah, I also got a check engine light because I wanted to make sure I got all the coils in and the wires because a couple of them felt like they didn't like click onto the plug. I forgot to plug in all 4 of these coils and then I started the car. I had him start the car. So like it ran. It was shaking like a motherfucker, but it ran. Yeah, so yeah, I got a check engine light I got to clear. But yeah, now it's time for me to pull out these 4 plugs, or 8, fuck. Pull out these 8 plugs, replace them with those 8 plugs, and get back to work. I just want to show them long tube headers. Looking good, sounding good. All right, so we got all the coils, everything on, plugged in. Hopefully this thing starts up and runs pretty smooth. Again, some of the spark plug wires felt like they didn't click into place.
So you want to have a foot to the ground with gas?
No, please. It'll actually enter flood clear mode and won't start. All right, runs good. No more wobble on the water pump. But go on ahead and cut it. Me and Anton are about to run over to AutoZone and grab some coolant because all we have is that. So the rest of the cooling system's completely empty. But yeah, this thing's running good. Do you want to stand out here so I don't have to put the tools away yet?
He's running good. He's lying to y'all, bro.
You gonna stay here? Okay.
It's not running good at all.
So, AutoZone it is.
Yes.
Why do you need to go to AutoZone?
I'll take you to AutoZone.
You got to get some oil or something? What, does this thing burn oil?
I need my phone.
All right, we're back from AutoZone. We got the car running, trying to warm it up right now and get it to drink down some coolant. Also, if you have a W211, do not buy this super expensive $44 funnel. None of the adapters fit. I'm a little pissed about it, but it's okay because I got other cars that can use it. Oh, there you go. It's on wide angle. Yeah, so we're just waiting for it to warm up right now, but we're not seeing any leaks. All right, we're warm enough for the radiator fan to want to be on. And full speed. Does the car think it's overheating right now? Nah, that's real confusing. But it is actually pulling a little bit of heat out the radiator, so it is warming up. So yeah, we're just gonna wait for this thing to drink down some more coolant and shit. You know, the boring part of cooling system repairs and upgrades. Well, this was not the outro I wanted to make. So it's been about 2 weeks from the last clip you had seen. I had since gone on vacation and came back and everything. And I did not get to finish what I wanted to do on the Mercedes. See, I wanted to replace the front brake pads. It was going to be a pad slap because I had a vacation to go on and I wanted to road trip this car, and I just didn't have time for a full brake kit to come in. But the pads would make it in time. And then the night before I was supposed to go, the car developed a no-start issue. I'm sure the battery's probably dead too. I seemingly just randomly lost all fuel pressure. I don't know if the pump is working. I need to lift up the rear seats and diagnose that. I do know the relay clicks. Obviously the fuse is good. I'm going to probe and see if power is making it to the fuel pump. And if it is, I'm now going to check if the fuel pump is working. If that is, I'm going to start checking fuel lines or something. But I did get a fuel pressure gauge. I put it on the end of the fuel rail because on these 5-liter M113s, they have a little Schrader valve and you can test fuel pressure, and 0. The car will also start on starting fluid. So the video ends here. I'm going to have to maybe make a video of diagnosing the Mercedes. I might just fix it off camera, but I don't know. I think I'm going to make one about diagnosing and try to show you how to diagnose a problem like this. But there's no guarantees that video will ever see the light of day, because if I can't figure it out within a reasonable time, I'm going to get frustrated. I'm going to stop recording. And I'm going to fix my car because I love this thing and I already miss driving it. But I have been working on the Cadillac over there where I installed a $300 catback exhaust. So please go watch that the week after you watch this one, because this video will be coming out first, even though I just finished filming that one before I finished filming this one. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Sadly, we didn't get all the maintenance done, and sadly, I didn't get to show off the tune, but I will be making content on that. I want to try to put the car on the dyno and take it drag racing to see what quarter-mile times I could put down with the tune and my bigger, stickier tires with the AMG wheels. So if you enjoyed the content, please like, comment, subscribe, share it, do whatever you need to do, all that cool YouTube stuff. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.